everybody, it's Carolyn Marie with Healing NRG, and today I want to discuss planetary energies and how they affect our daily going on. Everyone is somewhat familiar with basic astrology. For example, my sun sign is Scorpio, my rising is Leo, and those people that know me well know that that's pretty much a good description of my personality. It's fascinating how those traits mirror us so closely. And I want to go deeper into how the planetary movements affect our overall life here on Earth. For example, 4 times a year we have what's called Mercury Retrograde. And let's talk about that, because we just went into that period on Sunday. The effects of Mercury Retrograde can be felt a couple weeks prior to the actual date and a couple weeks after. So from April 18th through May 11th, that's the period that we're in called Mercury Retrograde, but the energies can be felt a little beyond that. So what does that mean? What does Mercury going into retrograde mean? It's when the planet Mercury slows down and appears to stop and go backwards. It doesn't really stop and go backwards. It's just an optical illusion. But because Mercury rules communication, that's where we all feel it. So what happens during Mercury retrograde? It's said that everything goes haywire in the area of communications. We may lose email, our computer may crash. Some people find that their phone lines go down. There is no real hard data on this. You just have to observe yourself. In my own observation during this retrograde period a week ago, I lost all my email for 24 to 48 hours. So, these things happen. And actually, in addition to that, a few days ago, I received an email that was sent to me on March 1st that I never received on March 1st. I didn't receive it until 3 days ago. So those are the types of things that can happen. It's known as a time for us to take a time out. Mercury retrograde gives us time to catch up with ourselves and look back. Something from our past might return in a different form. This can mean people, ideas, or buried insights that we need to look at to move us forward. Often, it's felt as a contemplative time, depending on the sun sign that we're under. For example, we're under Taurus right now. It's a time that's known to not be committal of anything. There's a long-held belief that it's best to avoid making set plans during Mercury retrograde. This means being cautious about things like signing contracts, forming partnerships, corporations. Anything that gets put into writing may turn out to need some serious revision after Mercury goes direct. Now that's the negative. There are pluses to Mercury retrograde. Seeds that we may have planted in the past may actually start to sprout during Mercury retrograde. And also ideas that we may have had in the past that we needed tools for, well, those tools may show up and help us actually start, manifesting towards those goals. So those are some of the real cool things that take place during Mercury retrograde. Now, in our relationships, sometimes we tend to gloss over things that pushed our buttons and we felt, it wasn't worth the time to really deal with. But during Mercury retrograde, the trouble may reveal itself as a major issue, kind of putting a microscopic view on the situation. And what it's telling us is that this is a time to review it and deal with it and either, move it out of our lives so that we can create space for the new to come in. It's a time to go back to the drawing board. Some of our dreams and goals get lost in the hectic rushing around of our daily lives. So Mercury retrograde can be a rich time of reflection. It makes a time for our soul to ponder its destiny. You might look over old journals, review your creative work, think about serendipities of the past which have pointed you towards your true spirit's calling. This can all make Mercury retrograde a time of solidifying a sense of our personal destiny and where we're headed. And, as I mentioned earlier, we are under the sun sign of Taurus. So those traits of a Tauran would be the things that we'd be feeling strongly right now. And Taurus is the sign of the bull and the sign of strength. It's a sign of loyalty, a sign of persistence. So those traits tend to be very dominant during this period. Making the most out of Mercury retrograde? Well, astrology is simply a tool that can make us aware of patterns like those that come during a period like Mercury retrograde. So the best thing for us to do is just observe and see what happens and be open. Be open to the past coming back for us to review. Because if it's coming back, there's likely something more for us to learn from it and release. You don't have to retreat to a monastery, but a little solitude and quiet reflection is always in order during this time. So I'm curious if anyone of you have any interesting experiences you'd like to share with us about Mercury retrograde. Go ahead and post them down below. And for those of you that are unfamiliar with Mercury retrograde, this period goes on until May 11th, so come back to us after that point and let us know, what you've experienced. Until next time, this is Carolyn Marie with Healing NRG. Have a healthy day.